As a parent, it's always tricky to navigate the delicate balance between protecting your children from the harsh realities of the world and allowing them to explore their own interests. So when my son brought home a mysterious old book he had found at a garage sale, I was both intrigued and slightly concerned. The book, titled The Curse of the Forgotten Woods, looked like it had been forgotten for decades, with dusty pages and faded illustrations. My son, eager to hear a bedtime story, begged me to read it to him that night. Being a lover of all things creepy and mysterious myself, I couldn't resist indulging his request. As I began reading the tale of a group of friends who stumbled upon an ancient curse in the depths of a dark forest, I couldn't help but feel a chill run down my spine. The story started innocently enough, with the friends embarking on a camping trip filled with ghost stories and spooky legends. But as the night wore on, the tone of the tale shifted. The friends began to experience strange occurrences, shadows moving where there should be none, whispers in the darkness, the feeling of being watched. I tried to brush off the unease I felt creeping up on me as I continued reading, but as the story reached its climax, I found it hard to ignore the sense of dread that settled in the pit of my stomach. The friends in the book started to disappear, one by one, their fates becoming increasingly gruesome and macabre. By the time I reached the last page, I was trembling with fear. My son, oblivious to the growing tension in the room, begged for another chapter. But I couldn't bring myself to continue. The words on the page seemed to leap out at me, taunting me with their malevolent energy. That night, I lay awake in bed, haunted by the images and words from the book. Every creak of the house, every gust of wind outside, felt like the precursor to something terrible. And then it began. Small, inexplicable things started happening around the house. Objects would move on their own, doors would slam shut without warning, and a cold chill seemed to permeate every room. I tried to rationalize it, to explain it away as mere coincidence or my overactive imagination. But as the days went by, I couldn't deny the truth staring me in the face. The events unfolding around me mirrored those in the book my son had brought home. I was living out a real-life nightmare, trapped in a story that seemed to have no end. Desperate for a way out, I confided in a close friend who was well-versed in the supernatural. Together, we pored over the pages of The Curse of the Forgotten Woods, searching for a clue, a solution to break the curse that had taken hold of my life. And then, we found it. A passage hidden in the back of the book, detailing a ritual to banish the evil that had been unleashed. It was a risky endeavor, but I was willing to do anything to free myself from the grip of terror. That night, under the light of the full moon, we gathered the book and gathered in the backyard. With shaking hands, I recited the incantation, feeling the power of the words resonating through my bones. And then, we set the book ablaze. As the flames consumed the pages, a sense of relief washed over me. The curse was broken, the darkness lifted. And as the last embers flickered and died, I knew I was finally free. My son, too young to understand the gravity of what had transpired, watched in as the book turned to ash. And as he hugged me tight, I knew that nothing would ever come between us again. Together, we had faced our fears and emerged stronger for it. But as I looked out into the night, the shadows seemed to linger just a little longer than before, a reminder of the darkness that always lurked just beyond the edge of our reality. And I knew